Morgan and I grew up side by side, childhood neighbors, practically stitched together at the seams. The year we turned 16, Morgan met the girl the universe seemed to drop straight into his lap. That bright, sunburst of a girl. Before we go any further, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Morgan and I were childhood neighbors. He lived across the street, and for as long as I can remember I trailed after him like a stubborn little shadow. Morgan kept to himself, cool and quiet, but he was always gentle with me. No matter what I said, he answered. Every morning he showed up at my gate at exactly 7:20, 2 breakfast sandwiches in hand, one for me, one for him. Our classmates decided long ago we were a couple, tossing lovebirds at us in the halls. Morgan never confirmed, never denied, just smiled that faint smile and changed the subject. After enough teasing, I'd convinced myself we liked each other too, both too young to risk ruining it with words. We'd even made a pact, get into Stanford together, stay together afterward. Then sophomore year Taylor transferred in. It was one of those drizzly September mornings when our homeroom teacher ushered in a tall new girl. Plain white button-down, ordinary jeans, still she glowed, as if someone had cranked up the saturation around her. Raindrops clung to the ends of her hair, she flicked them away, revealing a clear forehead and eyes like polished amber. "I'm Taylor," she said, voice ringing easy and light. Taylor like the laurel tree. I caught Morgan glancing up, rare for him, new kids usually bored him. The seat in front of him was the only empty one, so that's where she landed. When she spun around to borrow an eraser, I saw her eyes flash golden in the sunlight, warm, liquid honey. "Morgan," she said the first time she spoke to him, smiling, "your handwriting is gorgeous." His script really was beautiful, years of after-school calligraphy, but whenever I complimented it he only shrugged. "Alex," I heard him answer. In that second I felt the air shift, something had already changed. Taylor's energy lit up the whole classroom, and soon she was woven into our tiny 2-person orbit. She ate lunch with us, stayed after to help when I had cleanup duty, and stretched out beside me under the oak during PE to watch Morgan run sprints. She listed his virtues to me, and she praised him to his face without a shred of self-consciousness. At first Morgan would mutter, "Alex," and nothing more. Later a small smile would sneak onto his lips while he looked away. "You're shameless." I'd never seen him flush like that. "Are perfect," composed Morgan, flustered. Because his parents demanded maturity, he'd always been older, calmer, untouchable. Me? I was the quiet one, just to name a few, have their own set of unspoken codes, and mastering them can make a world of difference in how you communicate with locals. He seemed about to say something more when Taylor emerged from the cafe holding 2 cups of bubble tea. She paused, taking in the sight of us, then grinned and slapped Morgan's shoulder. "What are you 2 lovebirds whispering about?" For once, Morgan's brows pulled together. "Cut it out." Yet even as he said it, he flicked her forehead gently, an affectionate tap. It was the first time Morgan had ever denied the teasing about us, and, strangely, I felt nothing stir inside me. Still, I had no wish to play third wheel, so I turned to leave. "Ellis," Morgan called. "Mom and Dad said they haven't seen you in ages. They want you over for dinner tonight." My first instinct was to refuse, but I remembered all the times his parents had looked out for me, and I agreed. Taylor didn't look pleased, she bit her straw hard enough to crinkle the plastic. Morgan leaned in and murmured something that made her glance at me, expression thawing into a bright smile. I had no idea what he'd said, nor did I care why she'd looked at me. My mind was stuck on the math problem I hadn't solved that afternoon, and I was still frowning over it when we reached his house. Morgan lifted a hand to ruffle my hair. I dodged without thinking. He cleared his throat, awkward. "What's got you so distracted? I talked the whole way and you didn't hear a word." "Math problem," I answered truthfully. At dinner Mrs. Vance revisited the old stories, Morgan and me as kids, how inseparable we'd always been, then turned to him and reminded him to keep taking care of Ellis, hinting she hoped we'd stay close forever. I smiled politely. "Morgan's a wonderful big brother." Mrs. Vance caught my meaning and let the topic drop, shifting smoothly. "And Ellis is the sweetest little sister. We'd adopt her in a heartbeat." Maybe it was my imagination, but after that exchange Morgan's mood dimmed. He kept stealing looks at me. I didn't know what he wanted, and I didn't have time to ask. Yet from that day on, Morgan started bringing me breakfast again. Each time I handed it back. After several rounds he stopped insisting, only watching me with puzzled eyes. "Ellis, what's going on? You've been distant. Do you hate me now?" I shook my head, smiling. We're friends, always have been. But when one of us likes someone, a little distance helps. He blinked, stunned. You, like someone? Who? I meant you. Me? Taylor was already walking over with her workbook, so I left it at that and turned away. On my way back to class after lunch, Taylor caught up. She wanted to talk. I assumed it was about the breakfasts. I gave a brief explanation, but she said it wasn't about Morgan. We stopped behind the gym, beside a line of trees. Taylor leaned against the wall. A breeze lifted strands of her hair, she tucked them back, diamond studs glinting. After a long moment she looked me up and down and laughed. Ellis, do you know what your so-called friends say about you? I glanced at my watch, brows pinching. I've heard. Taylor, you haven't. Me, she held my gaze. They call you a boring bookworm who doesn't know how to have fun. Totally wrong for Morgan. She paused, then added, almost kindly, maybe take a page from me, loosen up. You'd make more friends, maybe even keep them. Her smile felt sincere, the advice generous, but I didn't want it. I don't need to. Taylor regarded me with pity. Keep this up and they'll all drift away. The wind picked up, leaves rattled overhead, mingling with distant laughter from the field. Inside me, nothing moved. I closed the fluttering pages of my book and met her eyes, calm and slow. People who like me will like me however I am. People who don't, there's no point reshaping myself for them. I'm my own person, I don't have to match anyone. As long as I'm not hurting anybody, I'm fine exactly like this. Alex for the suggestion, but I don't see anything in your strengths worth copying. In some ways, you could learn from me. Taylor blinked, startled, then laughed. Nice. I hugged my books and turned to go. A shadow flickered near the shrubs. I remembered the basketball I'd seen earlier. I fished it out and tossed it toward the silhouette. Your ball. The guy stepped into view, bouncing it twice. Sorry, wasn't eavesdropping. Just didn't want to lose my ball. His tone sounded anything but apologetic, he seemed half distracted. No problem, I said and started away. Leo called after me. Ellis. I stopped. You know my name? He lifted a brow, grinning lazily. Top 3 grade magnet? Everyone knows. The honor roll lists only scores, no photos. I pressed my lips. So, what do you want? He closed the gap a little. Nothing. Just think you're interesting. Probably because he'd overheard my exchange with Taylor, I countered, interesting how? Leo studied me, oddly serious. Top grades, look like an angel, barely waste words, rock solid inside, goals locked, details noticed. In short, very interesting. Adults praise my marks all the time, but almost no one comments on my personality so lavishly. I stared, then broke into a genuine smile. Alex. No idea how he judged all that, maybe he was improvising, but it made me happy. So don't you think you should know who I am? He offered his hand. Sunlight through the leaves painted shifting shadows across fair skin and the red string around his wrist. Hey. Leo Hart, Jr., Class 3. I shook it, feeling the heat of his palm. Hey. Ellis, Jr., Class 1. After that, every time I passed the outdoor court, Leo would shout my name. Coincidence or not, I started running into him at the library and cafeteria after school and at lunch. His English was shaky, he asked grammar tips. I struggled with a few math proofs, he showed me slick shortcuts. He disliked plenty of people and made no effort to hide it, so when something, or someone, irked him, he let it show. They say his temper's short, weirdly, I've never felt it. Sam, you messed up here. At some point he began tacking an extra syllable onto my name. I blinked back to the page. It's right. Check again. He did, still baffled. Comes out the same. I rubbed my cheek. That's the answer to the last problem. I zoned out and copied it to the wrong line. Leo rested his chin on his hand, eyes fixed on me. Well, straight A students lie too. The Wednesday mini-exam came back. Leo cracked passing in English. I finally hit a perfect score in math. After last period he insisted on buying me bubble tea to celebrate. Halfway there he remembered something in the classroom and told me to go ahead. I ordered a lemon tea and a mango shake and slid into a window seat. I'd just pulled out my vocabulary booklet and opened the flagged page when two people sat down across from me. Taylor greeted me enthusiastically, her tone as familiar as ever. "Jordan, fancy seeing you here, alone again? Ordering 2 boba teas all for yourself? Careful, those calories add up." Morgan eyed me, puzzled. "Ellis, aren't you allergic to mango?" I rubbed my cheek. "I'm not alone. One's for a friend, he'll be here any minute." Taylor glanced at Morgan, smiling. "Which friend? You've been buried in books lately, no time for us." "A study buddy." I sipped my lemon tea and flipped to the next page of my vocab booklet. Just then Leo waved from across the courtyard, jogged over, and dropped onto the bench beside me. "Sam, secretly grinding again? What page are we assaulting this time?" To see the booklet, he leaned in so close his right cheek almost brushed my sleeve. I tapped his forehead lightly. Only then did he notice the two people opposite us. Morgan's gaze darkened. Leo lifted his head reluctantly, met that stare, and looked vaguely annoyed. "Why the death glare? Pretty sure I didn't steal your drink." Morgan looked away and pressed his lips shut. Taylor winked at me. "Jordan, is this the new friend who's been stealing you away? He's cute, no wonder we've barely seen you." Before I could answer, Leo said, "Glad you noticed. Sam here likes me better anyway." The remark would have sounded rude coming from anyone else, but Taylor only laughed and changed the subject. "You're Leo Hart, right? We've met, you're the boys' varsity captain. We scrimmaged with the girls' team last month." Leo tore his straw wrapper, I still on my vocab booklet. "Yeah, you guys lost. True, you were good. We should schedule a rematch sometime." He flipped the booklet back to the page he hadn't memorized yet, then finally took a satisfied pull of his milk tea. "Pass. I've got bigger things on my plate right now." The two extroverts traded volleys while Morgan and I, both introverts, sat mute. Even Leo, usually a live wire, sounded half-charged today. I swallowed a piece of lemon, ready to leave, but caught Morgan studying me in silence. Puzzled, I lifted a brow. Suddenly he spoke. "Ellis, let's walk home together later. I need to talk." I pocketed my booklet. "I'm heading to the library. Message me." Leo stood, cramming our half-finished drinks into a to-go bag and looping it over his wrist. I said, "Alex," and left with him. At 9 that night I came back from the library and spotted Morgan alone on the park bench by my building. The street lamp was broken, only faint light leaked through the leaves. When he looked up, that thin gleam caught in his eyes, making them seem bleak. "Studying that hard?" I nodded. He lowered his gaze to our overlapping shadows. "So, that guy is the one you like?" He'd misread something I'd said days ago. I checked my watch, anxious to end the topic. "It isn't me, it's you. You like Taylor, don't you?" He frowned. "What makes you think that?" Fair question, he'd never confessed. Maybe it was the way his eyes tracked her, their casual touches, the small shifts in him. Plenty of clues, but I only offered instinct. "So you've been keeping your distance because of that?" "Not really. Just keeping healthy boundaries." Silence stretched. Finally he rose, bent to meet my eyes, and gave a knowing smile. "I get it. Truth is, you like me, right?" I stiffened, brows drawing together, and stepped back. He went on, "Ellis, you've got it wrong. I'm not into Taylor, but I'm curious about her." "Curious? I've never met anyone like her. These 2 weeks have felt different." He tucked his hands behind his back, gaze steady. "Still, I wouldn't call it liking. What I do know is I hate seeing you with that Leo guy." Anger flickered in his voice. I couldn't follow his logic. Maybe I was meeting him for the first time. When I said nothing, his tone softened. "Ellis, don't be mad. If my hanging out with other girls bothers you, I'll stop." I shook my head. "No need. Who you're close to is your business. We're friends, don't use me as an excuse to freeze others out." I turned to go, but he caught my wrist. "But I like you, most of all, and you thought I felt the same?" Strange, he claimed I was his favorite yet flirted openly, knowing full well how I felt. I wouldn't lie, but I couldn't accept it either. That was then. Not anymore. He looked down at me. Then let's go back to then. I pulled free. Impossible. Morgan ruffled my hair helplessly. Ellis, don't be mad. I messed up, I'll fix it. He still thought I was sulking. In the past, a soft apology always reeled me back. But this time was different. Some lines can't be uncrossed. I held his gaze and said quietly, Morgan, I'm lousy at lying. If you know me at all, you know I meant every word. He froze, lips pressed tight. I had piano practice at 10, I left him there and went inside. For the next week Morgan didn't seek me out. The girl behind me whispered that Morgan and Taylor had had a huge fight and were barely speaking. I capped my pen, finishing the final math problem. Chloe, sitting beside me, fidgeted. I slid my physics workbook over. All done. She bit her lip. Sam, did you offend someone? What do you mean? People are saying you hate me, that you're sick of me copying your homework, that you pretend not to mind but actually, plus other weird stuff. Her voice shrank, she couldn't meet my eyes. I don't believe them, we've been deskmates 2 years, we're tight, but if anything I do bugs you, just say it. I won't get mad, promise. Chloe's grades are decent, just slow. Our teachers pile on assignments, unfinished means detention. With her after-school classes, she sometimes borrows my work. I never minded, never complained to anyone. When I stayed quiet, she panicked, near tears. Sam, I swear I believe you. You've got to believe me too. I patted her hand. I trust you, same as you trust me, she exhaled. Knew you were the best. Still, watch out, some people love disguising rumors as jokes, steering clueless crowds. I twirled my pen. Who started it? Who else? The vice rep who can't beat you in physics, always snide. Nobody likes him, only Taylor tolerates him. I murmured an okay. The bell rang, the teacher walked in, ending the conversation for now. After lunch, Leo texted me that they had a noon game and asked if I could come cheer. I glanced at the sticky notes on my desk, no new assignments, so I shot back an okay. Since I'd nibbled protein bars during last period, I wasn't hungry for lunch and got to the court early. The moment I sat, I spotted Taylor holding a ball beside a knot of guys. Whatever she said cracked them up. Taylor's the tallest girl in our class, pale as printer paper, and she didn't look short next to the boys. Her fairness actually made her stand out more. I'd been hitting the library every day lately, always passing this court, but this was the first time I'd seen Taylor here at this hour. I slipped on my headphones and pulled up last month's mock exam listening section. Halfway through, Leo's head popped up behind me. Seriously, Sam? Game's about to start and you're still grinding, I'm actually mad. I slid the headphones off and handed him the boba I'd bought. Peace offering. He gave me a thumbs up. Save it for when I sub out and bring it to me? I pretended to think. Then I'd rather trash it. He snatched the cup and raised it high. Fine, I'll drink it now. Someone on court shouted, Captain, quit sipping. Get down here, got a hot new classmate to intro. Leo took a long pull, braced one hand on the bleacher, voice flat. Pass. Call me for warm-ups. Their exchange drew Taylor's gaze. She cradled the ball and hit me with one of those unreadable smiles. I pocketed my headphones and nodded politely. Leo dented the plastic cup a few times, eyes on the paint. Feels like she's here for you. I shrugged. Might be here for you. He gave a low scoff and looked away. Watching bodies streak the baseline, I said, you don't seem to like her much. He shaded his eyes, lazy. Yeah, not big on instant besties. Could change. I peeled the straw wrapper, tilting my head. You were pretty instant with me, remember? He clicked his tongue, tapping my forehead with the cup base. I'm selective. I smiled and let it drop. The game itself was nothing special. Leo's team rolled. Just before the buzzer he secretly flashed me AV. I sipped my boba and bet him back. Only then did I notice Morgan sitting across the gym, watching me. I used to be able to pick him out of any crowd, now I hadn't even known he'd arrived. I looked away, texted Leo, and left. After that day, Taylor started showing up more, queen of small talk. She'd become one of the guys with Leo's friends and days. Leo was frosty at first, but once he saw her drilling and laughing with the team, his scowl softened. Wednesday after school, taking trash cans out for detention, I passed the court and saw them drenched, trading buckets. Taylor dribbled, said something, and Leo's eyes lit up. They slapped 5, then sat on opposite sides of the grass talking. I couldn't hear what. I tiptoed off, thoughts churning. Thursday morning Leo asked how my detention ended so fast. He'd heard I was on duty and wanted to help, but I'd vanished by 5:40. The hearing must have come from Taylor. I circled the last multiple choice answer. Someone helped. Who? Morgan. Truth, Morgan always used to do my chores. This time I'd said no, but he still finished them. Leo's pen stalled. Next time I'll beat him to it. I kept writing. Sunday night, walking home from my prep class, I cut through the old street alley. An empty soda can clattered at my feet. Under the dim street lamp, several tall shadows spilled out. I backed up, then caught Taylor's voice. Thought you were paying today. Where's my money? The girl opposite folded her arms. We're broke, besties, right? Just let it slide. That's my tutoring cash, Taylor snapped. The high ponytail girl sneered. So skip tutoring. Books are lame anyway, don't glare at me. Taylor raised her voice. Pay me. The guy beside spat out his cigarette. Bitch, watch your tone. He rolled his sleeves. Talk's cheap, she asked for this. I yanked open my photos, blasted a cop show clip at max volume. Police. Drop your weapons. The gang froze mid-punch, then bolted. Taylor stared, stunned, before grabbing my hand. Noodle stand boss is their pal, move. We ran 2 blocks and collapsed in a condo playground still busy with evening strollers. She let go, giving me that same cryptic smile. Alex today, but I won't. What are you two doing here? Morgan's arrival cut her off. Avery, she turned, pointed at me in slow motion. She sicked thugs on me, so? Morgan frowned. Quit lying, she's not like that. Taylor's laugh was sharp. See? You can defend people when you want. I had no idea what she meant. Morgan stayed silent. Taylor smoothed her messy hair and walked off without a backward glance. Morgan reached to fix my collar. I stepped back. I've got it, right. He looked distracted. As I opened my mouth, he whispered, sorry, and jogged after her. Weird, why apologize for chasing someone? The next week I went full hermit prepping for the City Physics Olympiad, living classroom library home, phone stripped to study apps. Not until Wednesday PE, our class combined with class 3 because their teacher was out, did I come up for air. I kept score for the high jump. Unsurprisingly, Leo topped the boys, Taylor the girls. I circled a neat one beside both names on the sheet. 2 girls beside me whisper gossiped. Wow, Leo and Taylor, power couple vibes. Aren't you team Morgan Taylor? Morgan's childhood sweetheart is Ellis, remember? Then I ship Leo Ellis, end of story. Heretic. They thought they were quiet, but they were literally next to us, and getting loud. I kept my face blank while I tallied the standings, pretending I hadn't heard, and Leo flashed the 2 of them an enthusiastic thumbs up. Nice demolition. Taylor and Morgan looked over at the same time. I suddenly felt an urgent need to find a bathroom. Morgan walked up. One-on-one? Leo glanced at me and grinned. In what? Morgan cracked his knuckles. Basketball. Leo tightened the band around his head and gave a bright laugh. You're on. He flicked his gaze toward Taylor. You two make a pretty slick team, coming at me back to back. What's the prize if you win? Taylor took a sip of water, then turned away, rare embarrassment flashing across her face. I clicked my pen. A full set of 3 years college entrance, 5 years simulation workbooks. Leo perked up. Then if I hit a problem I can't solve, Sam, you have to teach me. Morgan's face stayed flat. Play first, talk later. We still had sit-ups testing later. I drifted away quietly, not in the mood to watch their showdown. Just then a kid came back from the restroom and hadn't done the high jump yet, so I ignored Leo's hopeful stare and returned to the mat. The boy opposite mouthed sorry, started his run up, tore in too fast, clipped the bar, and sent it flying straight at me. I stepped right, the world spun, and I hit the ground. Through the haze I heard voices beside my ear. Let me. Less talking, get her to the nurse, now. Someone hoisted me up. My head throbbed, a faint scent of jasmine drifted around me. When I opened my eyes again I was in the infirmary. The gym teacher stood anxiously by the bed, several students clustered behind him. The boy kept apologizing. I reassured him 3 times that I felt fine, and they finally filed out. Chloe squeezed my hand. Sam, you scared me to death. I shook my head. I'm okay. No head injury, just low blood sugar. But Taylor was lightning fast. Before that guy even crawled off the mat, she was sprinting here with you on her back. So the Jasmine had been Taylor's. Where is she now? No idea, left a while ago. Probably checking on Morgan. He twisted an ankle going one-on-one with Leo. Leo tried to help, stepped on a basketball, and banged up his knee. I rubbed my temples and started to sit. Just then Taylor walked in and handed me a box of Jasmine candies. Keep them, just in case. I took the box, curved my lips, and said, Alex, don't mention it. Call it, returning the favor. I nodded and asked Chloe to fetch my bag from the equipment room. Reading the situation, she flashed an okay and slipped out. Taylor looked down at me. Ask whatever you want. I pushed myself upright. You've been trying to prove something to me. Taylor gave a small laugh. Yeah, bet I'm good at this. I can get along with anyone. I meant it when I said, you are good. I've always admitted it. But I still want to be myself. And that's perfect. Taylor braced a hand on the table, gaze drifting to the window. I take back what I said before. Honestly, Morgan isn't right for you, maybe not good enough. He's weird, claims he likes you, yet when I got close he never pushed me away. When Lisu spread that rumor about you, he didn't defend you once. I couldn't get it, so we fought. That day he ran after me because he was terrified I'd tell you. He stayed silent. As for hanging around Leo later, just a challenge. Could I befriend someone who doesn't like me? But Leo's tough, feelings right on his sleeve. A fragile ego would shatter. Still, he prizes loyalty, so I won over his friends first, mentioned you in front of him, and he drifted closer. She exhaled. First time you've heard me ramble, huh? Think my friendships come with an agenda? I shook my head. Nope. Just thinking you'll be amazing at whatever career you choose. Taylor chuckled softly. Alex, so, friends for now? Casey, eyes shining. I always thought we already were. I smiled. Then it's official. A clatter came from the doorway. Leo hobbled in on a mop he'd commandeered, balanced on one foot, looking a wreck. Sam. You okay? Anything broken? Taylor dragged a chair over. Chat, you too. I'll check on Morgan. Leo raked a hand through his hair. If I hadn't played him I'd have gotten here first. He stopped himself. It's nothing, just low sugar, I said. But your knee, fresh red, was blooming through the fresh gauze. I called the nurse, she cleaned and dressed the scrape again. Ellis, I pressed his shoulder. Stay put till it clots. He obeyed, eyes locked on me. I slapped a vocabulary booklet into his hand. Here, memorize a few if you're bored. He pouted. Watch me nail 100 and catch you tomorrow. Taylor helped Morgan in. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. I'm fine. Go rest. He stood there, finally whispered something I didn't catch. It didn't matter anymore. At month end I took first in the physics Olympiad. On the podium my mind felt clearer than ever, no more fog about the future, or about people. Taylor transferred again, art school this time. On goodbye day she beamed. Sam, maybe one day you'll have a celebrity friend. I waved, eyes bright. Can't wait. Riley, Morgan moped for weeks, then buckled down and started studying. Leo's English soared, he snagged second in the grade on the latest monthly. He shook me by the shoulders till I calmed him with one physics problem. Days blurred after that. Everyone sprinted toward graduation, old dramas shrank to nothing. The afternoon we finished the college entrance exam. Leo confessed under the scorching sun, sweat soaked into his headband, hope flickering in his eyes. I thought a long time, then said no. Once, I'd craved being someone's special person, as if that were proof I was unique. I'd forgotten, simply being here makes me one of a kind already. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more great tales. See you next time.